Welcome to Hilary Topper On Air, the podcast you can't afford to miss.
No one should go hungry during the COVID-19 pandemic. With school closures, job disruptions, and health risks, millions of Americans are turning to food banks for much needed support. One art gallery located in the heart of Manhattan is making a difference. I'm Hilary Topper, and this is Hilary Topper On Air. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Jeff Jaffe, who is the founder and owner of Pop International Galleries, which is located on the Bowery at the junction of Spring Street in New York City. Welcome back to the show, Jeff.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So could you refresh our listeners' memory and tell us a little bit more about Pop International Galleries and your background?
Yeah, sure. Um, I I'm an immigrant. I came to the United States a gazillion years ago. I went to art school. I landed up going to a fantastic graduate school called the Cranbrook Art Academy in Michigan. Um, Came back to New York City from there and opened my own sculpture studio. And sort of one thing led to another, and children and whatnot. And I landed up joining an art gallery organization and found that it was a perfect niche for me, um, which ultimately led me to starting my own gallery. And almost, 25 years later, here we are. Um, the Pop Gallery, as it's fondly known, the was the first gallery to focus on art that has to do with pop culture, which included, of course, the great names of Andy Warhol and Keith Haring and Roy Lichtenstein, and eventually people like Jean-Michel Basquiat and the like. But what we've come to really understand that we're more about popular culture really than we are about pop art per se. And that's been our niche, and it seems to have worked pretty well for the last 25 years or so.
So talk to us a little bit about this amazing charity event that you're putting on called Collect for Cause. What is it? When does it begin? And who are you featuring?
So here we are, stuck in the middle of a pandemic with just about every business in New York City shut down, people working remotely, people struggling, frontline workers, homelessness, hunger. Uh, it's just an awful time for all of us to be going through.
Mhm.
And small businesses such as mine are struggling, no doubt, like millions and millions of others around the country. But at the same time, being in the epicenter of this pandemic, it sort of occurred to us that we need to start to really live up to the way, the moral compass, if you will, that the Pop Gallery has followed for a really long time, which was to become part of the community, be involved in the community, and still be a functioning real business. And so this pandemic gave us an opportunity to sort of sit back a little bit and reevaluate and think about things and how we're going to stay in business and how we can still follow this moral compass that I talk about. And Collect for Cause was born. Um, my staff has remained with the gallery during this pandemic. I've kept them on, which was a difficult thing initially to do, but with the help of the government and the PPP program, we've been able to sustain ourselves. And one of my team members came up with this brilliant idea of doing an event called Collect for Cause. And it resonated for me immediately. And we decided that what we were going to do is have what is technically our first, well, actually second major online event. Only this time, what we were going to do, given the circumstances in which we're currently living, this terrible pandemic, that we would donate a percentage of the gross profits from whatever sales we were able to generate during the time that this event will be online to Feeding America, which is just an astonishing food supply organization and supply chain for people in the United States. Fantastic, really, really fantastic organization. And so here we are, ready to go. The event is comprised of 15 or so artists. Most of them are actual artists that we've been representing for many, many years at POP. And we've also included in the curation of this through the Team POP, as we like to refer to ourselves, of including some newer artists that we've not really dealt with in the past, but we're very, very eager to participate in this for obvious reasons. It's a real fantastic, meaningful attempt to be relevant and survive in what is perhaps one of the most complicated and intense pieces of history that we have to live through. And so Collect for Cause was born. And we approached all our artists, and as I say, a few others, and I cannot tell you how eager they were to participate. Some of them even said that they would donate 100% of the profits from the.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about some of the works that are going to be part of this exhibition?
Absolutely. This is a collection of, again, that focuses very much on what Pop International is known for, which is art that has to do with popular culture. And that includes street art and graffiti and art that has to do, as I say, with general pop culture. So it ranges from artists like Fernando, or is known as Ski Romero, and Mike 2E Baca, and various other very well-known street and graffiti artists, Diaz and others, as well as somebody like Antonio Reonegro, who was the official artist for the Grateful Dead in its heyday.
Wow.
And which is, again, the whole pop culture thing. And so Tony, for example, has made these beautiful works of art that pay tribute to the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. And so it's this really broad, wonderful, popular cultural spectrum of artwork that has made its way into this exhibition.
Very, very cool. Well, before we move on, I just want to say that I am so appreciative of our sponsors and want to take this moment out to thank them. Please support our sponsors and tell them that you heard about them on Hilary Topper On Air. Special thanks to the Russo Law Group, the Profit Express, Pop International Galleries, and Fortuna Fine Jewelry. Now back to you, Jeff. So we're talking about Collect for Cause. And this upcoming online exhibit where 20% of your sales will be donated to Feeding America. Like so many of us, your business and artists you represent have been affected by COVID. Can you tell us what you're experiencing right now during the New York pause and how you're operating?
Yeah, this was obviously not anything that anybody could have in our wildest dreams ever have anticipated. And we had to scramble about to sort of get organized in a way so that things could still function, which meant a lot of logistical things like taking everything online, which is something that we'd never really done before, moving things to the cloud, so to speak, training the staff to be able to have access to files and computers from their apartments and homes away from the gallery, which is, again, not something that we ever would have anticipated our needing to do, because mostly when people buy art, they like to physically see it. They like to be in the space, looking and touching and smelling and feeling and having all the emotional things that go about buying a piece of art. And this went to show that it proved to us that we could do things differently, and we didn't have a choice but to do things differently. So we did. And Collect for Cause is an astonishing, it's actually amazing, truly, how much work has gone into making this happen. Almost, it's almost as more difficult in some ways than doing a physical show at the gallery, which we're so used to doing.
So talk to us a little bit about how people can support the arts right now and why it's important.
Well, look, New York City is perhaps, in my opinion, perhaps the greatest center for the arts in the world. Maybe a little pompous to say that in some ways, but having lived here for all these years and lived and worked in the art world, New York City is like no place anywhere. We are a community of, the city is made up of the people. The city is made up of the millions of people that live here. And although we're all living socially distant in some odd way, this city could not be what it is without the people that live here. And so the idea of pulling something together that could be related to by the population of New York City and the world, truly, because this is a global event, sort of indicates how important it is to support the arts in so many ways in New York City and around the world. The politics and the stuff that we're dealing with as we struggle through all of this have to be set aside. And we have to look at what it is that makes us human and makes us completely a species unto ourselves that nobody else could really in another planet or another dimension ever understand. And the arts is something that is just so uniquely human.
So the markets are down right now, right?
Yep.
And people are looking for investments. Is art a good investment?
So I get asked that question probably, if not once a day, 10 times a day. We have a policy, particularly at the Pop Gallery, not to sell art as an investment, which is not to say that art cannot be bought as an investment, because that is absolutely true. If you came to me and said, Jeff, I've got, a couple of $1 million, could you give me some advice as to how I might be able to build a collection that's going to grow? And that's a little bit different than somebody walking into the gallery and seeing a $3,500 piece of art on the wall, and it just takes their breath away. And I will stand firm when that collector or client would say to me, well, is this an investment? And I will say, no, we take the position that you should be able to have a relationship with a piece of art in the following way. Do you love it? And can you afford it? And if you can afford it and you love it, those are the two perfect reasons to buy a piece of art, because they will be in your home for a very, very long time. My family is a perfect example of having had art, since my children were born, and they grew up with it and they love it, and they talk about it and who's going to get what down the line.
Kids.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. I walked into the dining area next to our kitchen one morning. My daughter was home from college, and I heard her say to her brother, she said, well, okay then, if you're going to get this one here, this Keith Haring on the wall, then I really think the two pieces around the corner, by the sofa, I should get those, because that would be a fair exchange. And I walked in and I said, what are you doing? And they high-fived each other and they said, gotcha.
That's great. That is so funny. So Collect for Cause is starting today. And how long is it going? And what's the website that people could purchase or just peruse?
So it's an event that's going to run for a month or so online. You can just go to our website, popinternational.com, And of course, right on the home page is the button to click, which says Collect for Cause. And once you click on that little button, or big button, it'll take you to the page that features the 15 or so artists that are being represented. And you can just click on a piece of art and acquire it. It'll be shipped to you for free. That's the other thing that we're going to do.
That's huge.
Yeah, we really want to make this happen in ways that people are very unused to seeing things happen. How galleries, there's stereotypes of galleries, and we try to break those stereotypes whenever we can. And so we decided that this particular one would also include free shipping, and that could be many, many hundreds of dollars, depending on where a piece of art is being shipped or the size of the piece of art or whatever
Absolutely.
it is. Yeah. But just go to popinternational.com, click on Collect for Cause, and you'll see the complete portfolio of what's been curated.
And I took a quick look just, so that you guys know, I did take a quick peek at the collection, and it is outrageous. So definitely go to popinternational.com and click on Collect for Cause and check out the works there, because I think you're going to be I know you're going to be very, very impressed. Thank you, Jeff, so much for being on the show.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure, and thank you for hosting me.
And I'd also like to thank all of our sponsors, the Russo Law Group, Profit Express, Pop International Galleries, and Fortune Fine Jewelry. And last but not least, I really want to thank you for tuning in and listening in each week. If you want more information on this show or any other show, visit our website at hilarytopperonair.com, or you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Alexa, you name it, we're out there. Have a great time this week, and go to Collect for Cause and check out the works, and I'll see you next time.